Jay Gruden, who obviously knows Kyle Shanahan and the system very, very well, he had some things to say that I think are they're eye-opening. There's some truth to them, and they may not be the most comfortable thing for 49er fans to hear.
Okay.
Check this out. Listen to what Jay says about Kyle Shanahan when he's in known passing situations.
I'm just not a big fan of his true pass concepts when he's down, and I'm just not a big fan of them. I don't know. I just don't understand a lot of them, and that's just something you have to continue to work on through OTAs, training camp, and all that stuff. You got to prepare to be down. It's a lot easier to call plays when you're ahead by 14 points on first and second down, and when you're down. Not many coaches have had a lot of success calling plays down, having to come back. It's very difficult when you're a one-dimensional team. It's very difficult in the NFL to have success. I'm not saying that I did have a lot of success. I'm just saying from a pass game standpoint, when I study teams, that would be one of the last teams I would look at as far as pass concepts go on known passing situations. I'd go elsewhere and look for other pass concepts.
Jay's making these comments with John Middlecoff from the Volume in the 3 and Out podcast. How does that grab you? Kyle Shanahan is essentially bad in known passing situations.
I don't think that he's wrong. And shout out 95.7 The Game alum, John Middlecoff. It was a brief run here. It was a self-immolation sensation. For those of you who have a great history here on 95.7 The Game, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Hell yeah. But
blew up his own spot.
He's golfing now. He's fine.
He's doing great guy. I don't think that he was the lesser half of that tandem at the time, but I don't want to get too bogged down with that. I don't think that Jay Gruden is wrong in what he's saying. And you look at the reason why they were, 0-31 going into last year, win behind, because I do think that this offense is built by design, 21 personnel, 2 running backs and a tight end, or 12 personnel with 2 tight ends. You don't do a lot of 3 wide receiver sets. You almost do no 4 receiver sets, which is what you want to do when you're down by a score or 2 scores late in the game. I don't think that this offense by personnel is built that way, and I don't think that Kyle Shanahan's scheme is built that way, where you have Brock Purdy with an empty backfield and 2 receivers right and 2 receivers left and a tight end, and you're just going to sit back there and sling it. They don't do that a lot, and they don't do that very well.
They don't, but here's what I'll buy from Jay Gruden, like, just as a fan, and this is sort of like just a feeling in your belly. Like, it's not a comfortable feeling. And I don't mean just losing, like trailing in a football game. There are a lot of games, we watch them all. And there are a lot of games when I watch certain offenses and quarterbacks, when I see them down by 5 points in the fourth quarter, like, I feel pretty good about what they're going to do. Kirk Cousins on Monday night, he came out, and after one play, I'm like, oh my God, the Falcons are going to go right down the field. Like, this is a piece of cake. Now, is that on the Eagles? Whatever, I don't know. And the Niners do have some recent responses that they could give Jay Gruden here. They could say, hey, Jay, let's show you the second halves of the games against the Packers and the Lions in the playoffs last year. Let's show you what Brock did in known passing situations and how well that went. But in the grand scheme, Jay's not wrong. It doesn't look good when they're down. And when Kurt Warner told us that it's literally part of the plan to play with the lead, I thought to myself, well, sure, great plan. Let's score first. That's a wonderful plan. But my gosh, like, it's not going to work that way all the time. And so I do think it's a fair thing to wonder if Kyle Shanahan could make some adjustments to the way they go about those passing concepts.
I think that it would have to be a complete adjustment to the way they construct their roster and the way he goes about constructing his offense, because he likes to do a lot of pre-snap motion. We know this. He likes to do a lot of shifting, a lot of sleight of hand. If he has everybody in tow and his offense is everything that he wants it to be, it's not really geared toward the hurry up or the no huddle, because his advantage is jet sweep motion, shift this guy that way, shift the other guy the other way, all those things that we call eye candy. Well, that takes time when you're trying to play the hurry up and you're trying to go pass first down the stretch. You're down by 5 with 2 minutes to go. His offense is not generally built that way, and I also don't think that the personnel is built that way. Debo and Ayuk, neither one of them is a straight line field stretcher. And beyond that, Jawan Jennings is he's a 20-yard and in receiver. You don't have really a deep threat. You don't have a lot of explosive weapons 20 yards down the field in the pass game.
Jay Gruden, guess what, is going to join us in a little bit over a half hour. Jay Gruden's going to join us. He also said this to John Middlecoff with regard to Sean Payton and John Gruden's passing games when compared with Kyle Shanahan's.
The Sean Payton pass game when he was at New Orleans, and my brother when he was at Oakland and obviously Tampa Bay, those were the pass games that I really liked. I really studied when John was out of football, Sean Payton and Drew Brees, and obviously Tom Brady. They were kind of different. Bill O'Brien and all those coordinators that he had there, they were a little bit different, but they still spread the field pretty good and made it a little bit easier for the quarterback. And it just made more sense to me on the eye where people were, why they were getting there, who they were reading. Sometimes I just feel like Kyle guys are just running all over the place with no rhyme or reason. But those are the teams. When Drew Brees was in his heyday, it was Sean, and they had, they worked the backs, they worked the weak side linebackers, and they worked the crossing routes extremely well. That was one of the best offenses, I think.
I really look forward to asking him some questions here coming up again at 3:45. That's Jay Gruden, because for him to say that in the passing game, it looks like guys are just kind of running all over the place. It's disorganized, he's basically saying. That sounds very non-Shanahan-esque.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And how did it, couldn't you respond and be like, well, how'd Brock Purdy throw for 4,200 yards and 31 touchdown passes and finish top 5 in the MVP voting if the whole thing is a mess? Then again, he does have some data on his side, which is that they're not built to come from behind. And why not? Why not? If you've got two $25 million receivers and you're about to have a $60 million quarterback, why can't you just drop back and have it be less gimmicky? I think it's a fair question.
And I want to hear his answer as to what he sees when they are behind. And I'm thinking about what you just said and last year, them coming from behind. And I'm just looking at it. And against Pittsburgh, they never trailed in the opener. And against the Rams, they didn't trail in the second half. So when you want to talk about coming from behind, well, it's not being down 17-10 in the second quarter. That's being down late in the game. You crushed the Giants. You motorboated Arizona. You pounded Dallas. And then the Cleveland game is one we could look at where you did try to come from behind, and Brock Purdy got the ball back with about 3 minutes to go. And actually, with 1:40 to go after Dustin Hopkins' field goal. And he led you down the field and got you into field goal position. And your kicker, Jake Moody, missed a kick that would have given you the win. But I wonder what he sees when the Niners do go 3 wide receivers or 4 wide receivers, if their concepts are not up to snuff with the other NFL teams.
We'll talk to Jay Gruden in 35 minutes. This will be real interesting. Let's go back to the phones to Matt in Orinda. Hi, Matt. Thanks for calling.
Thanks for having me on, gentlemen. You're hitting a great topic today. Mark, I don't know why I said Mark. We're not friends. It's not like I know you, but pretty awkward. But anyway.
It's okay. Our names are out there, Matt. It's okay.
All right. Well, all right. Last segment, going to quote you here. You said, Brandon didn't do anything offensive against the Vikings. I agree with you. He didn't do anything offensive at all. So there's that. But, look, he's paid like a dog, be a dog. And you guys are addressing this topic like the other coast radio, and I love it. He's paid like a dog, be a dog. He's got to step up and be a dog. So, Dibs, this one's for you. We all got to pay attention. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. This whole topic that you guys have stoked for all of us in this swirl that we're in is all about the Niners not quite having hit expectations yet. And you know why it's happening? And you know what it's called?
Tell me.
It's a frustration sensation, baby.
Nice. That's a buck.
Hit him with that, Grandy. Hit him. Yeah, he owes us money now. Matt,
That's very
thank
good,
you.
Matt. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Matt.
Not too frustrating yet, but if they lose against LA, which I can't imagine that they will, but they're allowed to lose, to use your lexicon.
It is. I checked. It's within the rules.
If you fall to 1-2, George Kittle didn't practice today. Debo and Christian McCaffrey won't play on Sunday. And if you go out there and lose and Brandon Ayuk is not dominant, well, then, yeah, we can talk about the frustration that would fall from there.
So you're being paid like a dog. You got to be a dog, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, again, you're not going to get any disagreement with me. You're simply going to say, I knew this was going to happen, and I tried to warn Brandon Ayuk. And this is because not just the money. This is not just the money. This is because of the way that he got his money. That now we have boiled down a 4-year, $120 million extension. We've now boiled it down to Sunday. Sunday.
To start.
Your teammates are hurt, and so now go earn your $120 million this weekend without any context of what else is going on the field. That's the only thing I'm sort of pushing against. I like, it's okay to hold Brandon to a standard every single weekend, and all of his teammates for that matter.